I'm Ronny Hochman. I am the CEO of IMPROVATE Group. IMPROVATE is a company that connects innovation companies to countries around the world. We deal with cyber companies, HLS, and defense companies. Company IMPROVATE organized this conference. The subject is defense. We have a mutual goal of defending our borders, defending our civilians, and we brought here today 18 Israeli leading companies with cutting-edge solutions and technologies to security and defense. And we are creating now collaboration between the Poland companies and integrators and the decision makers and the Israeli companies.
Why you choose Poland?
Oh, we choose Poland first because we think that it is very important to strengthen the ties between the countries, and because we think that Poland now is challenging the same problems and the same challenges that we do. And we thought that it could be very helpful to share the knowledge and to share the technology in order to bring much more secure to both countries.
During the Defense and Homeland Security Conference, organized by JJB Defense and IMPROVATE Company in Warsaw on 25th of February 2025, Israeli defense sector companies presented their products offerings that might be of interest of the Polish armed forces, border guards, and companies responsible for defense and protection of strategic facilities. The presentations were accompanied by the expert debate, use of advanced technologies in modern warfare. We present extensive fragments of the debate.
So let me start with the military perspective, with officers. From your perspective, from your experience, which new tools, new technologies are the most significant when it comes to modern warfare?
Although the threats are very accurate and very, physically dominant, when we look at from the Israeli perspective, as a father to a family with 3 kids, when I have an alert, I hesitate whether to go to the shelter or not, because I totally believe in our air defense capability. So just to give you an example of how, and you saw the complexity of how to do it. You need to locate, you need to sense that, you need to target it. And for me, as a father to a kid, that I'm hesitating whether to go to the shelter or not, which means the extraordinary contribution to, because it's a totally different story whether you can, and this is from the level of the, operational and strategic. If I'll take another challenge for the, the tactical and the operational challenge, when we tackle the challenge of maneuver to the Gaza Strip, if you look with all the sensors, you won't see the enemy. There is a huge infrastructure, underground infrastructure, and all the enemies is, is efficient and is hiding in the under. So how can you maneuver? How can you target? So when we see capabilities of lethality, as you see here, I just want to, because everyone saw the capabilities, how you can sense what information the different headquarters were able to put in front of the battalion commander, the company commander, the platoon commanders, the AI, the robotics, autonomous or not autonomous, all these capabilities gave us the opportunity to be very efficient in this area. And I think, just to summarize it, these are the main capabilities that give us the opportunity to do it fast, and to do it with a high level of survivability.
But which technology, any of technologies which can save the soldier's life, that's the most important, because to manufacture any kind of equipment is a very short period of time, and mostly it's very, very expensive. But to train, to prepare, and to send a good soldier, well trained, with high performance abilities to fight in a close contact, it takes years. It takes years. So next point is just to build the human resources to be very short, quick, and effective in the mobilization. That's the very first experience coming from the war in Ukraine. So we have to engage a lot of technologies to train human resources being prepared as a potential, let's say, body to be mobilized and in a very short period of time to be sent to the combat zone for a close contact with the enemy. As a field artillery officer, for me, the most important is the timely received information from different sources, because somebody has to manage the flow of information. And secondly, I have to be capable to engage targets in a precise way. So just to limit or minimize collateral damages, and of course to save ammunition, because the next experience from the war in Ukraine is just about delivering ammunition to the forces being in the close contact with the enemy. Next point is we must have digital communication, because what I have seen today, all the things are very fancy, very new, very needed instead of the Polish armed forces, mostly in the land forces, but they need to be connected, because we have to build up, we call it in NATO, common operating picture. If there is no digital communication with the large bandwidth to send the very heavy packages of information to the respective commanders to organize the battlefield in the correct way, it's going to be a disaster. Last point, because I don't want to be the obstacle between the audience and the lunch. In Poland, we are right now working on the different aspects of how to approach to the future when the war is going to be over in Ukraine. But thanks that we have a representative from political arena, so we have to declare what kind of new wars, hopefully not, will be engaged with the Polish armed forces. So the political side has to tell to the armed forces that, okay, we will be defending our borders mostly on the ground, but not only on the ground. We need to be engaged in the joint operations. So we need to have, we must have a very strong and efficient air force, special forces, and we are possessing some of the waters belonging to Baltic Sea. So in my opinion, we have to refocus our efforts to develop as quickly as possible Polish Navy, and we have to be very quick. We must be very quick in building capabilities to be self-efficient in delivering ammunition for the Polish army, because as you know, Poland has become the largest firepower in Europe, so we need to rely on our own national capabilities to deliver the rockets, missiles, and the rounds, not only for the artillery, but also for the air jets we are possessing right now. Thank you.
So let me stick to the military domain. So there are many debates, discussions, arguments saying that new systems, new technologies such as drones, we see them every day in Ukraine, they change the warfare very significantly. And do you agree? Or maybe do systems such as drones, first-person view drones, and their role, their impact is just exaggerated by media? How would you respond to that?
Thank you for this question, because I run the company which manufactures different types of drones and UAVs. But in my opinion, right now, drones and UAVs, as well as the autonomous vehicles or platforms, including the ground and water platforms, are just tools. It's not the element which has changed completely the current and war fighting in Ukraine, and which has changed dramatically our doctrines. Because if we look at the statistics coming from Ukraine, the effectiveness of drones and UAVs in Ukraine show that effectiveness of this type of equipment is about 5% up to maximum 12%. Why it happened? Because both sides, I mean the Russian Federation and Ukraine, mostly Ukraine, are suffering lack of ammunition. If we take into consideration the average level of daily shelling in Ukraine, it's about, on the Russian Federation side, something about 20,000-30,000 a day. In Ukrainian side, it's 3,000 up to 6,000 a day. So it means that Russian Federation needs at least 9 million rounds a year. The state capabilities, being on the war way of national economics, can deliver only 5 million. So they have to rely on the different assets to hit the targets in Ukraine. Ukraine, from the very beginning of the war, the armed forces of Ukraine, they didn't have any single capability to organize deep operations and deep strikes. This is why the offensive they conducted in 2023 didn't get to the end with a huge operational and strategic success. Why? Because we didn't have air jets, we didn't have missiles like ATACMS, we didn't have the long-range artillery missiles, I mean the 155 base bleed, to hit the targets at the distance at least 40 kilometers. This is why this offensive ended up with, I don't want to say with a big mistake, but it's ended without any operational success. So we have to wait up to the moment when we change the mindsets. Please consider the drones and the UAVs as a tool to create conditions for the another components of the modern battlefield to execute their missions. But right now, it's not a game changer, it's just the gap filler if somebody is suffering the lack of ammunition. That's my personal opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. General Numa, do you want to also respond to that question?
I think I agree with my colleague, but it's for the meantime. Because if we will be able to launch, let's say, 500,000 this kind of tools in few moments, and they are going to be totally autonomous, so the damage will be totally different. So it's a combination of the trend of AI, communication, and will be the point that massive attack of aerial autonomous combined with ground autonomous robots, that can be a game changer for the future to come. I don't think we are now in this time, but if if you look ahead, that can be a game changer.
So just one point to add. Before the war in Ukraine, we said that the sky is the limit. Right now we can say that the sky is not the limit now. And yes, in the period of 15-20 years, as you said, Ronny, there's gonna happen. Robots and autonomous drones, UAVs and our platforms, they will massively attack the targets on the enemy territory, but not now.
So now let me turn to Senator Wcisła. I would like to hear about the political perspective on new challenges and threats that comes from new technologies, which are in many cases dual-use technologies, which can be accessed, they can be procured on a civilian market. And those systems, AI, drones, whatever, they can not only affect the military domain, soldiers, but they can also affect civilian lives, like airports, power plants, right? So it's a multi-spectrum threat to the whole country. So what's the political reflection and your idea on this issue?
Szanowni Państwo, trudno jest z pozycji kaprala dyskutować z generałami, ale sytuacja w Ukrainie, wojenna sytuacja w Ukrainie to jest blok dwóch rzeczy. Wojny, która już była, z której doświadczenia mamy i taka wojna dzieje się w Ukrainie. Ja w Ukrainie byłem 2 miesiące temu w okolicach Chersonia, czyli w okolicach, gdzie były wojska rosyjskie. I tam widać pobojowisko takiej wojny, którą my znamy. Spalone domy, szkoły, obiekty, zaminowane pola, domy przykryte prezentami zamiast szyb, płyty drewniane. Wojna w Ukrainie jest ciekawym doświadczeniem, jeżeli tak można mówić o wojnie, która niszczy kraj i zabija ludzi, ale to jest splot dwóch wojen. Wojny, którą znamy z przeszłości i która tam się toczy, gdzie jest front, gdzie żołnierze na czołgach atakują poszczególne miasta i wioski. Ja miałem tą przyjemność wątpliwą, ale przyjemność zawiezienia 20 ton wraz z przyjaciółmi z Rotary International żywności do tych wiosek, nie do miast, bo to są dwie różne Ukrainy, w których widać obraz tej wojny, gdzie są spalone szkoły, spalone obiekty użyteczności publicznej, szpitale, gdzie domy mieszkalne pokryte są prezentami. Z drugiej strony, tak całkiem przy okazji, to pokazuje też kondycję Ukrainy, bo jednym z najładniejszych miejsc w tych terenach są niestety cmentarze żołnierzy, którzy polegli w wojnie z Rosjanami. Czyli widać, że Ukraina kocha swój kraj, swoją wolność i tych, którzy o nią walczyć. I mamy drugą wojnę, tą, o którą Pan spytał, wojnę, która wchodzi, i panowie generałowie mówili, że ona jeszcze jest nieskuteczna, ale to jest ta wojna z wykorzystaniem nowych technologii. Mniej może sztuczną inteligencję widać, ale bardzo dobrze widać drony i to, że na tej wojnie te drony zaczynają się sprawdzać, że to cała wojna nie jest prowadzona dużymi jednostkami wojskowymi, dywizjami, ale małymi grupami, które muszą mieć bardzo dobrą informację, żeby być skutecznym. I w tych małych grupkach potrafią wytropić cele i te cele zniszczyć, praktycznie nie stykając się ze sobą. To już wchodzimy w obszar wojny takiej technologicznej, w której za chwilę tych żołnierzy, których widzieliśmy tutaj na prezentacjach, będzie coraz mniej. Ci żołnierze będą czasami o kilkadziesiąt kilometrów od miejsca, gdzie będą skutki tej wojny. Oni będą komputerowo dowodzili autonomicznymi pojazdami, autonomicznymi właśnie dronami, sposobami niszczenia przeciwnika. I do tej wojny musimy się przygotowywać także i prawnie, bo to jest i duże wyzwanie, jeżeli chodzi o pole walki, ale też duże wyzwanie dla państw, które w tym biorą udział, czy dla społeczności międzynarodowych.
So as a politician, you interact with other politicians on daily basis. So from your experience, do they understand new technologies? Do they understand that the world is changing?
Znaczy, przede wszystkim ja jestem bardzo ostrożny w takim generalizowaniu, co jest świadomością polityka. Tak samo jak nie ma świadomości, nie wiem, szewca, lekarza, tak samo nie ma powszechnej świadomości politycznej. Z politykami jest różnie, ale odnoszę wrażenie, że no jednak nie do końca jeszcze do nas dociera to, co nowe technologie wnoszą. Jak trudno jest definiowalne dzisiaj to, co jest związane z wojną, z militariami, z obroną. Takie pojęcie, no czym jest wojna w naszym powszechnym pojęciu? To jest konflikt zbrojny. A czym wojna w przyszłości będzie? No niekoniecznie musi to być część zbrojna, bo za chwilę może się okazać, że informatycy są w stanie zablokować cały układ komunikacyjny w kraju, są w stanie zablokować sieci energetyczne. Ja uczestniczyłem w takich pracach nad przyszłym programem rozwoju Polski i mówiono w tym programie, że potrzebne będą małe elektrownie, lokalne, powiatowe, które nie będą w sieci. Sieć można zniszczyć, lokalności tak szybko nie można zniszczyć. Czyli będziemy odchodzili od globalnych rozwiązań, gdzie jedna jednostka centralna będzie zabezpieczała, powiedzmy, pół kraju, bo to będzie łatwiejsze do zniszczenia w przyszłej wojnie. Więc tą świadomość polityczną musimy budować, że inna będzie wojna, ta przyszłość, wojna przyszłości ze sztuczną inteligencją, z dronami, z autonomicznymi oddziałami, które niszczącymi, niż ta wojna, którą mamy do tej pory. Jeżeli chcemy nad tym zapanować, to musimy też tworzyć prawo. Tylko problem z prawem jest taki, że praktycznie każde prawo, a szczególnie prawo, które dotyczy nowych technologii, jest prawem reakcyjnym. Czyli najpierw mamy do czynienia z zjawiskiem, z zagrożeniem, a później tworzymy prawo, które ma to zagrożenie zlikwidować. I z całym szacunkiem dla demokracji, jestem zwolennikiem demokratycznych rozwiązań, ale demokracja spowalnia bardzo prawo i to prawo nie nadąży za tymi zmianami. Jedną z najważniejszych rzeczy w tym całym przedsięwzięciu jest zarządzanie informacją. Ten, kto ma informację, ten rządzi teraźniejszością, będzie rządził przyszłością. Wasz historyk, przepraszam, mówię izraelski historyk, filozof Harari, wydał niedawno książkę dotyczącą informacji i powiedział wprost, że jeżeli dopuścimy do tego, że zarządzanie informacją będzie w jednym ośrodku, czy to będzie władza, czy to będzie firma, konsorcjum, to prowadzi wcześniej czy później do autokracji. Władza pozwala budować rozwiązania, ale władza też powoduje, że można ludźmi manipulować, można zbierać dane i później wykorzystywać, można tworzyć różne systemy, które będą skuteczne i będą wręcz zarządzały dużymi grupami społecznymi.
And how about officers? Usually generals are very conservative, and there is that saying that generals are always well prepared to wage a war that already ended. So one thing is buying new stuff, new systems, but the other thing, correct me if I'm wrong, is to adapt, to use them, to understand what you have, and to use them on daily basis. So how about officers and military establishments? Are they ready to implement those systems, or systems which will emerge in the near future? And I'm asking about both Polish and Israeli perspective.
It's a challenge because people like to think that what was a success, the last war going to be the success in the next war. So it's a challenge. You have to be aware to that. You have to collect the differences and to hear new ideas, and especially analyze what your opponents are doing. Because if you are gonna, lie down and say, okay, I want this war, so this is gonna be the beginning of the next failure. And it's happening. It's happened to us on the October 7th because we sensed a few things, but we failed on the perception. Like you're playing chess and you see all the opponent tools and you know the rules, but you are caught in a surprise if you are not calculating good enough and wide enough. So surprise is going to be, and so you need to build the resilience and the capability to tackle the surprise that you are going to tackle in the beginning of the war, because no matter what preparation you are going to do, in the last mile you are going to be surprised. Mm-hmm. So you need to overcome these surprises rapidly enough in order to achieve your goals. So that's my way of thinking of how to develop commanders, how to develop human resources, and because the reality is very dynamic, and we heard from the political echelon how they see the future challenges. So now we're talking about technology, but the main issue is human resources and talented human resources, how to bring them into the organization, how to bring them to a defense industry, but how to bring them into the line of battle, because there are going to be a line of battle. In the end of the day, someone is going to come to murder you. And this is from the beginning of the human, we know that. So don't illusion yourself that somewhere, someone is gonna. So that's my insight about commanders and how they are preparing to the last war or to. I think it's not binary. You can see.
Thank you. And how about the Polish perspective and adapting to new stuff, new mentality?
First of all, Clausewitz wrote that the war is a politics conducted in a different way. So, meaning that we as a military, we are in the hands of the politicians. So it has to be, first of all, the solid interaction between the political side and the military one. If not, there is a first problem to even to implement the new pencil in the armed forces. Secondly, Sun Tzu said that you must know your enemy better than he does. So everything what gives you the real-time picture about the potential plans of the enemy, how the enemy is supposed to attack or organize the order of battle, the CONOPS, the concept of operation, and the most importantly, initial phases of the direct contacts with us, that's the most important. How about generals? Mostly right now we are open-minded. Thanks God we have such meeting. This one is, there is a chance to exchange knowledge about the new technical and technological solutions and the other issues. One day is not enough. The next time, please organize at least 2-3 days, because we need a one by one from the business side. But it would be good to have a one by one between the business and the military to exchange experiences, what the Polish needs, what the lessons learned from the Ukraine war, and what kind of activities the R&Ds coming from the particular companies should take in order to meet our standards. That would be really great, and that would meet the requirements from our side, from the military perspective. And of course, such meetings also increase our awareness about what Israeli general thinks about the war in Gaza Strip, and what he thinks about the war in Ukraine, and the same well, the Polish general exchanging the knowledge and lessons learned coming from two different perspectives. But most importantly, this is the strong request to our senator that take the solution from Israel where and when there is a strong connection between industry, defense industry, and the former officers. I'm not looking for a job. I'm fully busy. And in our country, there is no strong connection between the defense business and the former military. And that creates a situation that new equipment is not fully ready to be operated by the professional soldier. It's a disaster. So we should take advantage of the Israeli experience, how the state itself encourage the current serving military with the retired officers together with the industry. Thank you.
So today we heard about new solutions, new systems which can enhance our security, which can enhance capabilities of our military system or systems. But at the same time, many new technologies, many new tools can be used by our enemies, non-state actors, different states, or even crime groups. We have an example of Mexican drug cartels which use drones. So my question, and this is a question both for Senator and generals, I'm asking about your impression. Do you think that in 5, 10, 15 years, given new technologies, are we going to be more secure or insecure?
Znaczy, wprowadzenie nowych technologii do działań wojskowych o tyle powoduje takie sytuacje, że z tych technologii korzystają nie tylko państwa, ale i różnego rodzaju ugrupowania, terroryści, przestępcy. Trochę polega na tym, że bardzo trudno dzisiaj cokolwiek zdefiniować, co to jest, co służy wojsku, a co służy cywilom. I granica między dronem, który jest wykorzystywany w celach cywilnych, a dronem, który jest wykorzystywany w celach wojskowych, jest bardzo płynna. Ten sam dron może przenosić krew czy organy do transplantacji do szpitala bardzo skutecznie i ten sam dron może przenosić ładunek. I w tym tkwi to, że działając na rzecz postępu, trochę w życiu cywilnym wykorzystywanego, trochę działamy na rzecz postępu, który jest wykorzystywany w działaniach wojskowych. To zmniejsza granice między wykorzystaniem technik wojskowych, powiedzmy na minimalnym poziomie politycznie akceptowanym, czyli przez państwa, a poziomem nieakceptowanym, czyli przez, załóżmy, terrorystów. Oczywiście narzuca się rozwiązanie, że musimy stosować rozwiązania prawne, które to ograniczą. Z tym, że, Szanowni Państwo, ja pamiętam w poprzedniej kadencji dyskusję w Senacie nad wykorzystaniem technologii 5G. Niedawna rzecz, ale w powszechnym mniemaniu ta technologia jest do wykorzystania przez państwo chińskie, do zbierania materiałów, do manipulowania. O to dzisiaj się oskarża tą technologię, że może tak być wykorzystana. Jeżeli dzisiaj to, co mamy w kieszeniach, może służyć jednocześnie działaniom na skalę globalną, obejmującą miliony ludzi i my tego nie potrafimy wyeliminować, to zobaczcie, z jaką my mamy rzeczywistością do czynienia. To samo dotyczy sztucznej inteligencji. Wiemy, że to jest pewien mechanizm komputerowy, ale nie potrafimy wybronić się przed wprowadzeniem tam algorytmów, które nie muszą pomagać, ale mogą szkodzić. I to jest to ryzyko, które powoduje, że różnego rodzaju siły mogą wykorzystywać technologie w celach takich nawet zbrodniczych, czy granica wojny zaczyna być granicą bardzo płynną. Oczywiście wiemy jakie to są, tylko jeszcze jedno zdanie powiem. Widzimy o sztucznej inteligencji, mówimy od 2 lat w sposób bardzo intensywny, ale tak naprawdę dzisiaj Unia Europejska wyprodukowała przepis, który próbuje to ograniczyć. Państwa narodowe póki co nad tym pracują, między innymi Polska. AI Act jest takim dokumentem, który próbuje zapanować nad sztuczną inteligencją. Zobaczymy, jakie będą skutki tej próby uregulowania tych spraw.
Dziękuję. Generals, very, very briefly.
From one hand, you're right, we will be more secured, more safe, having new technologies, high advanced technologies implemented not only in the military, but in our daily lives. But from the other hand, we will be fully tracked. So whatever you do is recorded. Mr. Senator mentioned about the cell phones, even smartwatches. Right now, we are very happy having a Chinese electrical car in Poland. Each of them is equipped with the dashboard camera, is equipped with GPS, so Chinese. If we connect it with the 5G technology, then collect single data about each of us if we buy the Chinese car. So we have to be aware about the safety. The security will go directly with the tracking capabilities of somebody. Somebody meaning, I don't know who. Hopefully the government.
And General Numa, a brief answer about your forecast.
For the future, first of all, I agree with my colleagues. I think it's a combination of opportunity and threats. Everything that we are doing, there is an opportunity and there is a threat, and we need to be aware to that, and we need to. In the end of the day, there is advantage to governments and to power of a state of doing things, but when a state uses proxies and use terror cells or group cells to do bad things in order to destabilize countries, it's going to be a challenge. That's why you need good human resources in order to tackle with the challenges. Future is going to be very, very challenging. The opportunity of technology in all ways of our life is going to be a great opportunity to do lots of good things. But on the other end, it's a risk, and we need to take this risk. Otherwise, and it's unavoidable. You can't avoid it. So we need to adapt what we need to do with that in order to try to push it, because you can't push it.
And let me finish with an Israeli voice. If there was one thing, it's my last question, I promise. If there was one thing that we could learn from Israel, what would that be? Given mentality, new technologies, war-fighting system.
In the end of the day, it's readiness. Don't be. I'm not talking about to think. In the end of the day, you need to be ready, because you're going to be surprised somewhere, somehow. I don't know where, I don't know when, but. The tense is how to be ready without, take all your resources in order to do it. So that's why I need wide leadership to be able, but readiness.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.